All right, here we go. Hey, yo, what it is and what's good, y'all? Welcome back to 280 Plus, the social media podcast where I take the conversations of the timeline and go beyond the tweets. I'm your host, Lowe's Def, and I am back here for episode 143. And y'all see here, we going solo again this week. And if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. It goes a long way for the channel to grow. Hit the like button if you do see something that's kind of intriguing, or just just to get us in the algorithm, man. Get other people watching the show. Leave a comment, any type of comments. I get most of my comments on shorts and things like that. Share the content. I mean, share this episode if you feel like somebody is interested in any of the topics that we're getting into and they will be intrigued and they want to see stuff like this on a weekly basis. Again, that goes a long way for building the channel, right? So we're back, man, for episode 143, and this is actually a big thing, and I don't want to minimize it, but it definitely, when you're a one-man team and a one-man production, it's hard to like kind of make it a big thing. But this is the 3-year anniversary of the 280 Plus podcast, man. So let's give it up, man. Shout out to us. In fact, I always say we, because it is a one-man production, but like there's everybody that's involved. I feel like this is y'all show too, man. So we started this back in 2021, and it was right after my birthday. Like, it was like, I remember I got this mic that I'm using right now, this actual mic. This mic was my first mic, and I'm still using it. I have other mics like when I go outside or when I do other things, but this mic was purchased for me as a birthday gift. And I remember it vividly. Just even like just a couple weeks prior to this point, 3 years ago, and I reached out to Levi and I said, "Yo, man, I really want to make a podcast, and I think it's time." And he was like, he just talked about the consistency. He talked about this a lot on the JMC podcast when he was on there, or when Felix came to What Are We Doing pod. And Levi started his. He already had the idea of his getting off the ground, and I just jumped out there, man. And I'm grateful, man, to everybody. Like that first, I'm telling you, man, that first year, especially like the first, I would say, 25 episodes, man. So grateful, man. And I'm grateful to all my guests. But like that first like 10 to 25, that was big, man, because I was going out on a limb and just hitting up friends like, "Hey, man, you want to get on this, you want to help me out, and I had some good friends. I know some people that were, kind of moving and shaking here and there. And we built this up, to what it is today. Could we be bigger? Of course we could be. I mean, we definitely have our sights set for bigger things. But again, this show has evolved a lot over the years. Like we cannot mistake that. I remember before I had a backdrop, before we had any type of graphics on the screen, when I was using a webcam. I used the webcam for like a year. Like, I didn't get my first real camera. I've been rocking with this real camera because this was a gift. Then a year later, the camera that I'm using now, I had this for 2 years. I had my camera for 2 years now. Um, I remember before I only had one little light. I still could work on my lighting and things like that. So there's just a lot of things. We've gone through multiple laptops. It's just a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that people don't realize. And anybody that is interested in the journey of podcasting, just know it definitely takes consistency. It takes investment, and you have to want to do this, right? You cannot have this idea or this mentality that, yo, you're gonna make $1 off of it. And I don't do this because I'm trying to get rich right now. Like, yes, we do want to build this up into something, but you cannot go into it thinking like you're just gonna make a quick buck, you're gonna make some quick content, and then that's it. Like, there's work that goes into it. And some people are fortunate to have a team behind them. You know what I mean? And I have colleagues, I have people that I have some mentors, I have people that are behind the scenes that give me some guidance for certain things. I have people that I can reach out to if I need any assistance. But like, we doing this all by ourselves. So like, if you're doing it with a group of people, um, obviously there always is going to be one person that has the file, right? But like, I think it's best if like if you do have a group of people that are on the podcast, you gotta give if unless you unless you wanted to just be your entity, if you are sharing the podcast with other people, then you need to delegate and share the responsibilities, right? And really got to come together. The only reason why I always thought like so I'm impressed by like even what the Group Chat Chronicles does, like, and I'm that's a local podcast from around my way, and it's because they've had like a team, unit, and that's a hard thing to get, 3, 4 people together every week to talk about stuff. And so I've learned how to do this type of stuff solo. Obviously, I love having guests as well. I've had the kind of collaboration tape episodes as well. We are going to keep it digital for as long as we can. And pretty much that makes it universal. Again, that being digital, and I know that's not everybody wants to be, because I do have a space. I do have space that people could be here and share the couch with. But but being digital it just makes it so much easier to collaborate with anyone, right? So we're not just limited to people that are in our vicinity. And then I've learned how to do this by myself to where I can carry it, like, because at the end of the day it is my show. It's y'all show, but it's my show. So we can do content by ourselves if we have to. And I get compliments. I think there's certain things that we could do a little bit better, but we've learned so much in 3 years, man. 3 years. So always be grateful to where you started, and always reflect on where you're at currently. And that's what makes you proud of what you do. What I mean, that's what makes you feel accomplished, is when you're able to kind of reflect and see that journey over the years. So yeah, I'm pretty excited, man. Again, this is year 3 now. And yeah, so I told you this. I said that last week I was celebrating a birthday. It was coming up. Birthday was great, man. Birthday was pretty chill, pretty relaxed. I gotta say though, a lot of things has changed in my life in the last year. So and I would say for the most part, I would say things are good. Definitely going through my own trials, man. But I don't really dwell. I try not to dwell on the trials at all. Like, I know somebody that has this mentality of like, the world life has to keep going, and I do have a lot of that mentality myself. Like, life has to keep on going. You can't sit there and wallow in your sorrows and feel bad for yourself. Like, and even when you make mistakes, you got to keep going, man. And hopefully, man, you're not doing things that kind of alter your character, but just making some missteps, being aware of what you gotta how you can change and do things differently. So had a great birthday, right? So part of my birthday, and this is gonna be the first thing that we kind of talk about, man, is washed up rappers, man. So if you listen carefully, right, last week I said I was gonna go see a Lil Wayne concert, and I mentioned it probably in passing. Now Lil Wayne is like that kind of artist. Like, so me and my boy Steve, man, he's a big concert goer. That's the main person I go to concerts with. Him and then his brother. But sometimes it's just me and him. We invited another friend, which was good, man. It was good to get my boy Wink out there with us. And it was his first concert. Now, Wayne is definitely, I'm at a point where, this is a good age to be going to concerts, because, I have the means to kind of go to stuff like this a little bit more. And but like, we always look at artists in their totality, and we think about like the artists that we've seen in the past, and like think about all the music that we listened to over the years, and like what are some artists that I gotta see, right? And so obviously hip hop is gonna be where we rest our heads on. But I've seen great, I've seen Jay-Z, I've seen Kanye West. I mean, Watch the Throne tour 2011, Watch the Throne tour. I seen that. I seen Kid Cudi. I've seen Travis Scott twice. I've seen Fabulous twice. I've seen Big Sean. I've seen Wale, right? Who else have I seen? Man, I seen Chris Brown. Like, that was my first R&B concert. Like, well, I did see John Legend and that was like a real intimate, like unplugged type acoustic concert. I seen Damian Marley and Nas. I've seen Nas. I can't forget that I've seen Nas, right? Um, Seen Chris Brown, amazing performance. I seen my favorite artist, newer artist, Blast. Yeah, I seen Lupe. I seen Lupe a couple years ago, or actually just a year and a half ago. I seen Lupe. So like I've seen some people. So there are definitely some names that I need to check off, right? So I still need to see Drake. All right. I do need to see J. Cole. It's funny because talk about the big three, right? Kendrick Lamar, I'm not that interested in seeing Kendrick Lamar. I'm not, I'm gonna be totally honest. Now, I do respect his art, I do respect his music. I don't like all his music though, but I'm not really pressed to see him. Um, I had a chance to see Meek Mill, and like I do like Meek Mill overall, career wise. Don't really like him right now. Like he's not really my favorite right now. I even seen a Bad Boy reunion concert. So I seen Diddy. Oh shit. I seen Diddy. That means I seen French Montana. I seen 112. I seen Total. Like I've seen a lot of different acts. Um, but like Rick Ross is somebody I want to see, but like Wayne is up there. Wayne is one of those people that like, all right, you gotta, before I get out of here, I gotta see Lil Wayne in concert, right? So that's what we did, right? We went to go see Lil Wayne. I seen Lil Baby. Lil Baby was a part of the Chris Brown concert. So I've seen a lot of artists, man. Not maybe not as much as my boy Steve. But I've seen my great share. So Lil Wayne is on that list of like, all right, yeah, it's checking off the bucket list. Now, Lil Wayne, though, and even now going into the future, it makes me cautionary of seeing artists that are a little bit older. You know what I mean? That are kind of up in their years. So like Lil Wayne is in his early 40s, right? So he's not old, but you got to think about Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne been doing this a long time. Lil Wayne has not always taken great care of himself, right? So we talking about the substance abuse, right? So things that he's been on that have kind of, we've seen Wayne where he's looked, real bugged out, right? So for me, and I've even seen him in interviews talking about how like it's hard to remember his lyrics, right? Like because he's the best rapper alive, right? People talk like that. So you got to kind of take it with a grain of salt. So like one fear that I have is that like, if I go see a Wayne concert, he's not going to have the energy. Like he's going to be on some shit. Um because he said himself, I'm afraid he's going to forget the words, whatever, right? Now, when I went to this concert, you know what I mean, and excited, there was a million opening acts. I don't know why there was so many opening acts. I seen this in Reading, PA. So I'm thinking like I was getting nervous because I was like, man, what if this is one of those concerts that like Wayne don't show up to or something like that? Like, what if he pulls a Lauryn Hill on us? Nervous. I was nervous as hell about that, right? So Corday comes out. So yeah, now I've seen Corday. Corday is a great rapper. He can perform. I don't think he always connects. Like I think his look and his style, I think he needs to kind of refine a couple little things. And I think he could be a very ascending artist. So I'm glad to have seen him because as his career goes up, I might be like, oh, okay. Like that's somebody I seen. Like I could check that off, right? So then Wayne does finally come out. And it sucked because we was on the floor, but then once Wayne came out, and I'm tall. I'm 6'1" and a half, right? So I'm tall, almost 6'2". Uh really like 3/4. But anyway, I'm gonna give myself the extra quarter, right? So I'm pretty tall, so I don't have usually a vantage point problem, right? No matter where I'm at. Well, the problem with this concert was that once Wayne got out there, all the ladies, all the women started standing on the chairs, right? So I'm like, come on. Like, and I've heard some other people that have gone to concerts at this particular venue at the Santander Arena in Reading, that's what happens. If you sit on the floor, people are going to stand up on the chairs. So that kind of sucks. So my view is obstructed, and I'm not used to that because I'm taller, right? So then Wayne comes out, right? And he starts to perform, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Right. So yo, Little Wayne, man, like I was worried he was gonna forget the bars, the lines. This man forgot the flows of his own songs, bro. He forgot the melodies of his own songs, right? Everything, every song that he performed was this like choppy version of the song that I knew and loved, right? So a couple different examples, like Fireman, right? Now, Fireman, that's a song. And here's the thing too. I was nervous because I was like, I haven't really listened to too much Wayne in a while. Like I might hear a nice like guest verse. He's on somebody's verse and he kills it, and things like that. But I'm not really versed in like newer Wayne stuff. So like if he's performing newer stuff, I'm like, I don't even know. No, he performed all like just a bunch of classics, right? He performed a bunch of older songs. And it was like it this is what it felt like. It felt like he was reading lyrics, right? Like he knew him enough to where he didn't stumble on the lyrics, but like it didn't sound like the song at all, right? And I know sometimes when there's like, we see people like do the Tiny Desk performances or unplugged or something like that, where there's live instrumentation, you know, you can play around with melodies and flows a little bit, but not like this. No, not like this. So, so like everything he was doing was like this choppy version of the song, right? So, Fireman was one example of that. Well, it was really every song, but Fireman really stood out because I'm like, I love Fireman. Like when Fireman came out, that song, that video came out like '05, right? '05, '06, right? And yo, almost every line in that song is crazy. Ain't nobody fucking with me, man. Yo, like he's killing it. Like he's killing it, right? But then like when he's performing, he's like bap, 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 bap. And I'm like, yo, what the hell is this? Whatever, like hustler music, right? So y'all know I'm about to look up the lyrics to hustler music real quick. So hustler music lyrics. So hustler music is on Carter 2. That's one of like Wayne's greatest songs, right? Period. But like definitely on Carter 2, that's definitely a standout. Hustler music lyrics. So what he say? So y'all know like it's like that song is kind of like has a flow to it, has like a singy song to it. He said, God damn, mixed it hit a nigga in his head with this one. I'ma paint the city red with this one. I'm ahead with this one. See you fucking with the boy toes way before Christmas. No assistance, just that persistence with that commitment. If I don't get it, somebody gonna die tonight. If I know my vibe is tight and I deserve the throne. And if the kid ain't right, and let me die in the song. So right, so like how he's like flowing and like it's a little bit, it's not like melodic, but it kind of is, right? So that's not how he performed it. He's like, God damn, mix the titty, hitting it in the head with he said, mix the hit a nigga in his head with this one. I'ma paint the city red with this one. I'ma hit with this one. Yeah, like I mean, like it was just real choppy and like it was nasty. It was nasty. So like I'm looking at my boy, and that's what I said. It sounded this is what it sounded like. This is the best example I can give y'all, right? Just say, like, well, one, you ever hear like somebody on the news read music lyrics, just read music lyrics on the air, and like you see how like awkward it sounds, and you be like, damn, that has to be a horrible song, or like the bars are bad because of the way somebody read the lyrics, right? Like it just sounds like weak. That's kind of what it sounded like, but it was like almost like this. If I gave you the lyrics to a song and I put the instrumental on and I said, yo, go ahead, man. Do read those lyrics, man. Do that song. Almost like karaoke, but like bad karaoke. That's what it sounded like. And it sounded like he was like reading the lines and I'm up in the diddy red with this one. And I don't even think he said that. It was like choppier than that. Like it was so choppy. All the songs, like Lollipop, he performed Let the Beat Build, Lollipop, Miss Officer, Mr. Carter, like every song was choppy as hell. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna lie, like Wayne might be more of a mixtape artist than he is, or a feature. He might be more of a feature artist and mixtape artist than he is like artist because when you really dig into it, he don't got the hit. I don't know. I'm not. This is not gonna sound crazy. He don't really got the hits. Like he don't got the performable hits. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm like, I don't really like. I like Carter 2 is my favorite Wayne album. Like If I went to a concert with just Carter 2, I would want to hear that and I would want to hear it in its purest form. But like beyond that, I don't really need to hear what, like I don't know. Like again, got a lot of great verses, got a lot of great features on stuff. And he did do some feature verses from some songs, but it was just like no, it was not it. And it was fun. I did have fun overall. I did have fun. And it was just funny, like bugging with my boy. But it just was like, yeah, we could have saved that. And it's funny because it's ironic because my one of my mans went to the Drake concert that was at Penn State, right? At the Bryce Jordan Arena. And he was saying the same thing about Wayne. He was like, so Wayne went there. So Wayne was in Pennsylvania like all last weekend. And so he went to that and he was like, yeah, like he made me feel like I didn't know his lyrics or like I didn't know his songs that well because they all sounded different. And he had the same critique that I had. And I was like, yeah, that shit was ass. You know what I mean, so um performing, so even when people, so this is what I'm saying. This is my point is this is that a lot of people have a strong affinity for Wayne, and like Wayne is a lot of people's goats, right? Depending on how old you are, Wayne is your goat, right? But Wayne has had like when we really dig into his work and pull the receipts, whatever. Wayne's goatness is a little bit fraudulent, a little bit. Like it looks a little bit. He looks funny in the light. When you hold him up to the light, he was never the best rapper alive. Like that was marketing campaign all the way. Like he was never the best rapper alive. And even though he got bars, yo, I'm convinced this man punches in and punches out every bar because how he sounds performing is not the same way that it sounds on the track. So like performing and recording are two different things, right? And you would think that like it don't take that much to perform rap songs, but it does. It does. So this is another point here too, right? So a lot of times rapping is about the lyrics and about, I mean, can you spit, right? But there is another aspect of it, like, can you really perform? And this is where, like, somebody like Cardi B gets a lot, she gets criticism because we know she don't really write her raps because we know Partisan Fontaine was a ghostwriter for her. Like, he wrote songs for her, and we know that, like, for a fact. It's not a secret, right? So we know she don't really rap. But Cardi can kind of perform. And even if you don't really like her voice, she does it. Like she owns it and it's her performance, right? Now, granted, have I ever seen her live? Can she do it live? I don't know. But like there is something to being able to rap a song in a certain way as opposed to just knowing words and knowing how to put words together. Like you gotta be able to flow with it. You gotta be able to perform. And Wayne is not a performer. I had somebody else when I was talking to my man's, um, what I mean? When I was talking to my man's, and then he was talking to one of his coworkers, and he was saying like, "Yeah, I seen him back in the '08," and I was like, "Oh, so yeah, you probably got a better version." He was like, "No, no, no. He was just all he was doing was mumbling." So he was like, "That was when heavy Carter 3, probably real heavy into substances," and so like he was just sounding like crazy. So that's yeah. I seen Lil Wayne, but I was not proud to see Lil Wayne. So I did not post any of his like that. I was happy to be at the concert, but then I was not proud to be at the concert. And normally I'm gonna post a couple clips from it. I didn't want to post nothing from his performance because I was not proud to be there because I was like, oh my God, like this is like, so I am gonna make some content probably out of it, you know what I mean, talk about it, but make some shorts out of it. But like I didn't, and in that moment, I was like, no, I don't want people to know I'm here. Like, you know what I mean? Like I did not want anybody to know that I was at that concert. So yeah, man, yeah, he needs to go back into the lab and he needs to put in some work, man, some performance work. But we'll see, man. We'll see what the next concert is I decide to go to. But I think I'm gonna lean towards R&B. I'm leaning towards R&B concert because like, yeah, we not dealing with these old rappers that don't know they flows no more. So but yeah, that's that on that, man. We got a great show for y'all today, man. We're gonna talk a lot about the ladies. Last week was very headline heavy, man. We had a lot of things going on. You had that the bridge collapse in Baltimore, which we haven't heard too many new updates about that. We got some people having some theories about things, but we don't have an update on that. We're not going to touch that. The Diddy stuff. We talked about Diddy last week. And again, right now we got a lot of like chatter right now, but we don't have anything concrete to really report or anything to kind of give you updates on, other than the fact that King Combs, right? Christian Combs, he just got arrested for his own charges. Now, that could be one of those like piggybacking off of a bad situation type thing, or it could be a father like son type thing. No Diddy, you know what I'm saying? So we don't have anything really to talk about with that. The we're still waiting for J. Cole or Drake to respond to Kendrick Lamar. Meanwhile, We Don't Trust You by Future and Metro Boomin has climbed up the charts. It's number one on Billboard 200. First week, put up 250K. This week it's on pace to go another 130. So like, that's great. You know what I mean? Great. It is a good album. It's a really good album. I definitely would recommend people going to check it out. Not just for the Kendrick verse, but like, yo, there's some good tracks on there. There's a lot of bops on there. So yeah, we don't have nothing to update with that yet because we don't have any new bars, but we're cooking. But this week we're gonna talk about we gotta talk about the ladies. So we're talking about NCAA, right? Women's basketball, we're talking about. We're gonna talk about what else we got. We're gonna talk about the Cougar Groupie phenomenon. Cougar Groupie phenomenon. I got a blog post I'm gonna read on that a little bit. Quick and some quick hitters, right? Some quick hitters, some things that we've seen online. But ladies are a part of this, and but like the NCAA stuff, there's a lot of stuff to talk about with when we talk about media coverage of these women. We're talking about Caitlin Clark, we're talking about Angel Reese, and we're talking about their futures and where should these women go and all that, right? And there's a lot of controversy that's kind of been swirling around with that. So that's where we're at this week. And so yeah, let's get started with the show, man. All right, now back to the show. So, I had to take a little break there. So March Madness, man, we're gonna talk about this women's college basketball, and I ain't gonna lie, and this is something that a lot of people probably agree with, but the women's college game right now is just more exciting than the men's college game, and it's because of the players, right? It's because of the star power that we get with a lot of these female players, right? So there's not a male star that's like standing out there. I'm not saying there's not good players on the men's side, but there's no star power. There's no names. There's no household names. A lot of times, the men's player of the year does not even. It rarely translates into great success at the NBA level. For women's, it's a little bit different. Like a lot of times, these women that win the Naismith Award, the Player of the Year award, they tend to be the best players. So that's part of the reason why the women's game is standing out, because we have these names, we have these people that we can kind of bank on and say, oh yeah, we can count on this person being there and doing well and doing this, right? Because women's college basketball has followed the the reason why women's college basketball sometimes at times it seems to be more exciting than the men's game is because women's college basketball resembles what men's college basketball used to look like back in the 80s and 90s, right? Before one and done, right? Before one and done. So you get these good players playing with these teams, and you got these great coaches in the women's college game, and it's because they're able to build teams. They're able to keep players for sometimes 4 years, right? Caitlin Clark is a senior. You know what I'm saying? Like when's the last time we seen a senior star in the men's college game? It makes no sense. Like you're gonna go lottery, you're gonna go make money because there's actually money to be made. These women are making now, they're making more money staying in school, whatever. So we got the March Madness, right? So now we're down to the final four. So I seen somebody make a comment like, "Oh, yeah, the media really got y'all watching women's basketball. Like, ain't that some mind control?" And the thing is, it's like, no, I don't watch any sports. I don't watch any sports media. Like, to be honest with you, I might catch it. I might catch a clip or something, but like I'm not into the first. Like, I don't. because I don't have regular cable anymore. So like I'm not watching the first takes or I don't even know what the shows are called anymore. Is Around the Horn still a show? Is PTI, is that still a show? Like, yeah, I mean, like I don't know. Like those are the shows I used to watch, but like all the morning shows, First Take, Undisputed, I don't really watch it. I might catch a clip, I might catch clips here and there, but I'm not in that cycle. So there's not the media convincing me. If anything, it's social media, right? And it's not even like no ad campaign. It's literally word of mouth, right? So on Monday night when Iowa is going against LSU, I seen somebody say, "Oh, this Iowa LSU game is crazy." It was already halftime. It had just reached halftime, and I said, "Oh, let me tune into that," because I ain't had nothing to watch. So I said, "Oh, let me tune into that," and it was amazing thing to tune into. I tune in, and it's tied at halftime. Yo, right out of halftime in the third quarter, Caitlin Clark drained three threes in a row, bro. So I was like, yo, she's crazy. And like the shots that she takes grown man shots. She takes grown man shots. They said 50% of her attempts are from 25 feet and beyond, right? And so like that's a regulation three. That's an NBA three. You know what I'm saying? So I think the NBA three is like 23 feet, and so she can shoot NBA threes. I mean, and it's the fluidity. It's like how she comes off the dribble. It's her release. Like it's amazing. Like she is fun to watch, right? So like yeah, it's not the media. It's just people. Like it's I mean, and people are into the women's game, and it's because of players like Caitlin Clark. It's because of players like Angel Reese, right? So we get to now we're at the Final Four. So unfortunately, in that game, LSU, they just were outmatched, man. Like they really had no answers for Caitlin Clark. And when you really look at Iowa, they do have some role players, but like yo, and to be honest, as talented as Caitlin Clark is, because she can pass the ball, like she's a really good passer. Well, she had like 41 points, 12 assists, 7 boards, or something like that. So like she can facilitate, but like they really only have her. Like that's who you got to stop. Like stop her. Or I don't know. I don't know if the key is, do you let her get her shit off and like just stop her teammates, or do you hone in on her and make her pass out to her teammates? I don't know, but one thing I know is that they could LSU did not hedge off any screens to save their life. They was just getting disrespected. There should have probably been some double teaming going on, maybe a little boxing one. You know what I'm saying? When you got a player like her, but you got to run her off the line because her game is kind of one dimensional. Like she don't really even take she hasn't perfected her floater. You know what I'm saying? And that might be something that she develops later on. But she's pretty much all she's looking to do is shoot 3 pointers. You know what I mean, she hit 9 threes. She hit 9 threes. But like when you look at her percentage, um, I mean, she's kind of like under like her overall percentage was under 50%. So she's just jacking up threes all day. You know what I'm saying? Which they go in at a high clip. She hit 9 3 pointers in that game. You know what I'm saying? So 27 of her 41 points were 3-point attempts. She did get to the line. So she might have had like 3 layups. She might have had 3 or 4 layups the whole game. You know what I'm saying? So like she's not really, she's kind of one dimensional. I think she can be stopped. And I think she is gonna run into a buzzsaw when you get into some of these other teams, right? But anyway, um, the controversy, there's a lot of controversy in terms of like media coverage and this year, especially with Caitlin Clark. And it's kind of polarizing because we got people that are like, it sounds like people are hating, but then is there a racial element there? And like we got people that have kind of brought that up, right? So before we get into that, right, the Final Four, what we're gonna have, we got UConn left, right? UConn girls. That's the 23rd time that UConn has reached the Final Four. 23 times. Like, so amazing franchise, amazing franchise. Um, we got NC State is in there. We got Iowa, and then we got South Carolina, right? So South Carolina, they're probably gonna win it. I think Dawn Staley's team. I think they're gonna get back and win it. She already has 2 titles. You know what I'm saying? Like as a coach, so like I think they can get back and really do their thing, right? But just talking about let's just talk about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Right. So Angel Reese, she has decided to commit and go into the WNBA draft. Now, a lot of people that's polarizing because some people feel like she should stay for another year, right? Like she got a senior year, she can come back. She is going to she makes more money in her NIL endorsements than she will make ever in her career in the WNBA. So like, you know, why not just stay? Well, for some people it's not about the money. Maybe it is time to progress and they want to live the legacy. I think a lot of women are clinging on to this hope that like, things are going to change for the WNBA, which they got to start somewhere. But at the same time, I think I might milk my opportunities as much as I can. She did suffer an injury this year. I mean, she was like a little hobbled, and I think there's a fear that like she don't want to lose her chance because that's probably been her dream since she's a little girl, right? To go to the WNBA. So she doesn't want to miss her chance because, like, what if something happens next year playing college ball that prevents her from doing that? Well, yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, that is something to consider, right? So she's going, even though people feel like she could probably run it back and come back. Um, Caitlin Clark, though. Caitlin Clark, this is her senior year. So we know that she's going, she has choices though, right? So recently she's just been offered $5 million to play in the big three. So that's Ice Cube's like 3-on-3 league that he has. Now, that's something that has been growing. It's still like it's a league, it's a professional league, right? But it's still like a novelty, right? Like are people really checking for 3-on-3 games? Now, they compared that, right? So the starting salary, the rookie salary for a WNBA player is like in the 70,000 range. I thought I saw 76,000, and I might be undercutting that, or I might be overcutting that, right? Like, so I don't so but we're gonna say in the 70,000 range, $70,000 range. That's a good paying regular job. Like, I mean, that's a decent paying regular job, right? And to think about, like, people dream to be a basketball player. Now, if I was making 70 some $1,000 just to play basketball, I would be thrilled, right? I would be thrilled because that's like dope. I mean, but it's like, you know, one, we do talk about revenue. Are the women generating enough revenue to kind of command more salary, higher salaries? Probably not. They're probably not. But that just sounds really low compared to 5 million. Now, there's people that are talking on a business aspect of it because nowadays we know way more about business than we have ever known. Jay Williams was somebody that said, no, how about she counter that and say and take 7.5 million and then ask for a stake in the big three, so then basically she could leverage that stake and make, tens of millions of dollars, you know what I'm saying? And then go to the WNBA later, and then she brings all that, like, that media hype and cachet to the game. I don't know if Caitlin Clark is thinking like that. I think it is just a natural progression for a woman, that's been pretty prolific in her career, for a woman to go into the professional leagues. Can she play with men in a big three setting? Probably, you know what I mean? But I think you're just kind of you're throwing her that $5 million, one, to kind of help the league grow, like, and make it more popular. Um, I think it is great compensation because she probably won't see $5 million just off of WNBA salaries. Now she can get endorsements and things like that to kind of compensate for that, but she's probably not going to make that as a pro basketball player in the WNBA. So should she go? I would say it would be kind of cool, but I don't think that's like, it doesn't seem like it's a viable thing. The big three feels like a novelty, right? So we have that looming over Caitlin Clark's head, right? Then there's the conversation about, like, yo, could she actually play in the could she actually play in the NBA? Hell no, she couldn't play in the NBA. Like, I don't care when, like, she is a great shooter, right? She's a great shooter and she can shoot, you know, NBA range threes. Like, she could shoot a man's three. However, it's a totally different game, man. Like, I think once you put a little body on her, once she would feel that male physicality. And the thing is, the big three is probably not as physical because these are older guys. there's only three, it's 3-on-3. So like, the spacing, she's gonna have a lot more spacing. She's probably gonna run guys around and like, get open shots if she would play. But she can, like, I don't care what anybody says. And I seen somebody say like she probably she couldn't compete at the men's level in terms of like college basketball. But like there's people saying that like even the best high school boys would bust her ass. You know what I'm saying? They're probably right, but like it's just that physicality. Like I think we are really underestimating. Like even though basketball we don't look at it as a contact sport, it is. Like I mean, people are being physical, and you're using strength is a big part of what you do on the basketball court, and it's just gonna. I mean, like even the length. She don't. It's like people. There's guys that will literally block her shot. Like, I mean, like she's not. It's not like she's like 6'5" or anything like that. Like I don't even know how tall she is, but she's. I mean, she's not like super tall. Like even at her tallest, she might be. She might be my height. She might be 6'1", 6 or 6 foot. But like I even doubt that. You know what I'm saying? So like I don't know. I just don't see it. I just don't see it being a real possibility. But let's talk about media coverage though, right? So Jamel Hill, she kind of receives a little bit of backlash. I'm not gonna click on this article. I'm just gonna kind of browse this real quick. So yeah, so because I seen some of it on Twitter. So it says Jamel Hill faces off against Twitter critics following Caitlin Clark's triumph with Iowa over LSU in the Elite Eight. So Jamel Hill, she kind of went on a limb to talk about the media coverage of Caitlin Clark and as it compares to black players. Like and is she getting more recognition than um is she getting more recognition and more media coverage just in general than her black counterparts, right? Like black female players. And I don't think she's so here's the thing. There's two things could be true. Like I don't think she's wrong. I think Caitlin Clark is getting an enormous amount of attention, right? But I also think that her enormous amount of attention is well deserved because Caitlin Clark is we've never seen a female shooter like her. Like we've never seen that in the game of women's basketball. Like we never seen somebody as prolific, as good of a shooter as she is. Like she is the female. Like as right now, you would definitely call her the female Stephen Curry, right? Like she's changed. Like she's changing the game of. I mean, as we know it, like she probably is changing the game of women's basketball, and women are getting a little bit more like. And she has a great shot. Like it doesn't look like a girl's shot. Like it's a very pure jumper. She can shoot off the dribble, and so like she's very skilled in that regard. So like I do think it's kind of well deserved. But what I'm thinking about though, and this was what made me want to look back into history a little bit. In terms of like what has been the media coverage for college basketball. So to me, women already have a tough time of getting like the timeshare when it comes to media coverage, right? Like because there's all type of men's sports. I mean, when you talk about ESPN, like we're really talking about all the male sports, and then women's basketball is really the only women's sport that really gets media coverage at all. And and to be honest, women's college basketball still tends to be the peak of that popularity when we talk about women's sports. Like we talk more about the the women's NCAA tournament and their season than we do the WNBA. And I think there's a couple reasons for that. It's because you have a finite amount of time to see some of these teams constructed, right? Like so, and again, it looks like because it looks like the men's game was in the 80s and 90s where like you had these developed teams and people are saying like, yo, this is the only chance. This might be my one chance to see these teams. The fact that we got a national championship rematch in the Elite Eight, like that's must see TV, right? So what I'm saying though is the fact that like I feel like women's basketball has always been about either it's been about the coverage goes to a team or it always goes to the top player. Like it always goes to the top player. Like we're not really concerned with all these other players. Now, when we think about it, the best team in women's college basketball this year all year has been South Carolina, right? And people probably thinking like, "Yo, Caitlin Clark is getting way more coverage than anybody in South Carolina." You know what I'm saying? She's getting more coverage than Dawn Staley, getting more, So I can see that argument. Like, so she's not wrong, and like the Gamecocks, they probably deserve a little bit more coverage and a little bit more hype than what they're giving Caitlin Clark. But again, Caitlin Clark is like this, she's this generational player. So then it made me look back into like the last, like, since 2000. So 20 years, 24 years of college basketball. And when I think about it, right, and we could think about like the players, right? Because I feel like it's always been player driven, the coverage of women's basketball. And so if we look at these players, and I'm gonna think like, all right, um, yeah, these players have always got their shine, right? So we got Caitlin Clark, right? She was the player of the year last year. She's likely going to be the player of the year this year, right? So Caitlin Clark, player of the year. That was in 23, 22. We got a girl named Aaliyah Boston. I'm not familiar with her. Paige Buchers. She plays for UConn now, right? So like, yeah, so she was player of the year in 2021. Sabrina, that's the shooter that was in the 3-point contest or in the skills competition with Steph Curry. Megan Gustafson, Iowa. Then we got Asia Wilson, who, what I mean, when she was the girl, what I mean, she was getting the coverage. Kelsey Plum, you know what I mean? She's doing amazing in the WNBA. So like it feels like it's the coverage is deserved. Like I feel like these players, when they were here, when they were in college basketball, they deserve the coverage. And we do got some white players in here. I mean, but we got black players that I felt like got the coverage they did deserve. So then from 2016 to 2014, we had Brianna Stewart, right? And so yeah, we got a white girl, whatever, but she's doing her thing. But then we had Brittany Griner for 2 years. She was player of the year. I felt like everybody was talking about Brittany Griner in those years. Maya Moore in 2011. Maya Moore was the darling of college basketball. Her teammate Tina Charles in 2010, '09, Maya Moore again. Then we got '08, we got Candace Parker. Then we got another player, Lindsey Harding from Duke in '07. Then I remember '05, '06, we had '05 and '06. We had Simone Augustus. And I felt like she was really talked about, right? So I felt like she got great coverage. And then we think about then we got Diana Taurasi in '04, '03, Sue Bird in '02, Ruth Riley in '01, and then Tamika Catchings, so Tamika Catchings in 2000, Shamika Holdsclaw 99, 98 Shamika Holds. Like, so I feel like, no, I feel like if you are the top player in college basketball, you are getting coverage. But again, college basketball, especially at the women's level, has always been team oriented or team driven, right? So when we think about the national champions of the last like 24 years, right? Um, it's hard to say that these teams did not get proper coverage, right? So last year's champions, LSU, they were everywhere. Like LSU, that LSU team was everywhere. Like, so we can't say that they didn't get coverage, right? 22, we had South Carolina, a lot of coverage. 2021, we got Stanford. 2020, it was canceled because of COVID. Uh, we got Baylor in 2019. And was that one of those Brittany Griner years? No, Brittany Griner is, yeah, that's she was a lot before that. Um, Notre Dame, I think that's the Skylar Diggins years. South Carolina won in 17. So now we're getting into UConn. So one, two, three. So from 16 to 13. So 4 years in a row, they won it. Let me just see real quick. So from 2000, right? So they're making their 23rd Final Four. So 2001, let's see. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. 10. In the last 24 years, UConn has won 10 national championships. So, and are we gonna pretend that they didn't get the most media coverage, right? And did some of their best players happen to be white girls? Sure. You know what I'm saying? But like like those were super teams. Yeah, I mean, they also had black players that were heavily talked about. Maya Moore, Tina Charles, you know what I mean, stuff like that. So like I see what Jamel Hill is doing, because we do have to be vocal about it, or we will get forgotten. I mean, sometimes you do got to be the squeaky wheel, and you gotta bring it up. But I think it's meritocracy mostly. I think the coverage is based off merit. I don't think the coverage of women's basketball is based in race at all. Um, Sure, LSU has a lot of great players. I mean, Angel Reese is a great player. She's a great player, and she's done her thing and creating her own brand and her own awareness, right? Like, so where she don't necessarily need the media's coverage, right? She's a social media darling as well. Um, so, but I don't want to lean too hard and say like, oh, Caitlin Clark don't deserve the coverage that she's getting, because she's breaking records. She's like the all-time leading scorer, like you know what I'm saying, in the tournament, all-time leading assists in the tournament, all-time leading 3 points made, all-time leading 3 points made in female college basketball. So like, I that's deserved. Like if she's getting all the coverage, or if she's getting a lot of coverage, I think it's merited. I don't think it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that she's a white girl. So I don't know. I see where she's going, but it's not fully valid. And I can see why people got upset too with her. Now, I think people go a little bit overboard and they say things that they shouldn't be saying when people, want to stand up for black players and things like that. But overall, yeah, I mean, I think the coverage for Caitlin Clark is well deserved. So we'll move on from that. We'll move on from that. All right. So in talking about the ladies, right? So I seen this blog post. It was talking about, it said the Cougar Groupie phenomenon. So when we think about this, right, I think some names kind of come to mind, right? So a Cougar Groupie. And so they're saying that this is a phenomenon, like this is something that's like growing in popularity. And it was a kind of a cool blog post that talked about it. Um, I think Drea comes to mind. You know what I mean, when we think about that, like, and I think that's probably what spawned this article. And we could think about other cougars or other older women that have like kind of dipped back and try to deal with some younger men, right? And like, what are the consequences of that? What's the reason for that? And all that. So I guess I'm gonna ask some questions prior to getting into this blog post, but like, and maybe some commentary first. So when did I always thought women cared about the age of a man, right? Like, so when did women start kind of throwing age by the wayside? Like when did women start saying like, no, it don't really matter? Or is it just these specific women, right? Is it these specific women that are doing this? Because in most instances, right, a woman is gonna want to date a older man, because not saying that women only want provision from men, right? But like that is what you get from men. Like that's something that's coveted from women, like the provision that a man provides, right? Providing provision, resources. So that's something that a man could provide. And a man in his early 20s, he just doesn't have it. He hasn't lived long enough to have it. But an athlete, a musician, you know what I mean, a rapper, a R&B singer, it really that's the two fields. Like we got entertainment or we got athletics, right? Like those are the two kind of careers where somebody can really make a lot of money in a short amount of time and provide a certain lifestyle right away, right? So let's find this blog post here, and I'm just gonna kind of read some parts of this. And I don't know what do y'all think about this? What do y'all think about this? So and it's funny, the picture that they used was crazy. Like this lady is beyond a cougar, right? So all right, so it says the Cougar Groupie phenomenon. And this is a blog post, all right? So it says, in the intricate tapestry of the dating scene, a unique figure emerges, known as the Cougar Groupie. Defined by official groupie, this term refers to an older woman who strategically seeks relationships with younger athletes, often to enhance her financial stability. Unlike their counterparts who might opt out for partners of similar or older ages under different circumstances, Cougar groupies exclusively pursue younger talents within the sports realm, typically those who are rookies or within the first few years of a professional play. The age gap between these women and the athletes is notably at least 5 years, marking a distinct demographic intent on a particular kind of partnership. So I guess so there are groupies. Like groupies ain't going nowhere, but the cougar groupie is the older woman that's going for the younger guy, i.e., Drea going after Jalen Green, right? So it says characteristics of a cougar groupie, right? Cougar groupies often blur the lines with professional groupies, right? So professional groupies. So that's like the serious. So that's the thing. Drea was. We can argue that she was a professional groupie, right? Like I seen a reel that went down all the dudes that she's been with, and yeah, she gotta have 100 bodies. Like there was like 30 different dudes just off, and that's just what we know on the surface. You know what I'm saying? Like she gotta have 100 bodies, but that's neither here nor there. It says they're usually well into their careers. So, and talking about the Cougar groupie, they're usually financially secure and child free. That's where it kind of dies off of her because she's not child free. But it feels like she is. Well, she's pregnant now, but like because she has a kid that's as old as Jalen Green, right? Says they present an alluring package, youthful appearance, attractively attractive, physically fit, and exuding a sophisticated charm combined with a nurturing demeanor. This last trait being key to their approach. It says the challenge in spotting a cougar groupie lies not just in their youthful presentation, but in their demeanor. They navigate social scenes with a laid back, observant attitude, plotting their moves with precision. Says their behavior is a study in subtlety, especially in nightlife environments where they opt for the exclusivity of VIP sections, engaging calmly and collectively. Um, a stark contrast to the more overt actions of their younger or less experienced counterparts. Says the appeal of the group cougar groupie. So what makes guys want this? It says what sets cougar groupies apart is their adeptness at engaging these younger athletes, right? Offering a mix of security and maturity that resonates deeply, especially with those who still harbor a strong attachment to their maternal figures. Their experience and apparent stability are compelling, presenting a maturity that can be incredibly attractive to someone navigating fame and wealth's complexities at a young age. Right? And then they give like a cautionary tale. So, like, how can you watch out for them or what should you do? So, yeah, so this is basically they attract men. They're attracted to younger men, right? That have money, right? But then that might have like some mommy issues, right? Like either they might be a mama's boy, right? Or they can just feel like, oh yeah, he needs some of this like mother love. Like he needs some of this other love that I can give him that these young girls can't because yes, an older woman is gonna be a little bit more nurturing. I mean, she's been around the block already, right? I mean, she's been around the block many times, possibly. And so she's thinking like, all right, yeah, she knows how to move a little bit. And she definitely has what the younger women like. She has what the younger women have in terms of like her beauty and looks, but then the experience allows her to like she knows how to pick her battles a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Like she's not gonna start arguments off of some bullshit. You know what I mean? She's gonna kind of like let it rock. She might let that young man feel like a man, you know what I mean, as opposed to like a younger woman still trying to find herself and trying to find where she fits into the relationship. The cougar groupie is like stealthy and they just kind of like they assert themselves and then they're able to kind of just insert themselves into a specific role. But again, they trying to secure the bag for the future. And the fact that Drea had a baby, is pregnant to Jalen Green, it tells us that, like, yeah, you know what I mean? This it might not work. It's likely not going to work out as a relationship, right? How can you be in a committed long-term relationship with a woman that's 17 years older than you? How can you be in a committed long-term relationship with a woman who has a child that is your age, that is your peer? My dude, like, you gotta fight me every single day. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm coming to, like, I'm not coming to the functions, right? Because you gotta see me every day. If you're my age, if I'm 22 years old, you're my age, and you see to my mom, bro, you gotta fight me every day you see me. Like, I like it's just is I'm never gonna be cool with that. Like, I'm never gonna be cool with that. So yeah, that it's already gonna be problems. Like, I don't see how a relationship can form and be that way. But when I think about it, um, I'm just really thinking about, like, the age, the age thing, right? So, like, I think, they obviously go after these younger guys because these younger men, they out earn the average man, and I'm not talking about, like, average and, like, low earning, like, even like a doctor, a lawyer, an executive, compared to an athlete, and we're talking about money, it's average. It's like it pales in comparison, right? So, like even those men, like the average man, even a high earning man that's like not a non-athletic man, he's gonna require certain things from that woman, right? Like, there still has to be, even though he might lead the relationship, there still has to be some, like, teamwork that goes into place. I feel like a young athlete, like, he's not worried about that. Like, he's worried about just he just wants some peace, some quiet, some nurturing. He's not worried about roles and things like that. Like, if and he makes so much money that he can just, it don't matter. Like, it just goes away. Like, and he can really provide that woman that lifestyle that she's looking for, because she don't have no man. If a man is that much younger than you, and you're the cougar groupie, that man, like, he's not demanding anything from you. Like, you're really getting everything that you want. So I can see why this is a phenomenon. I can see why the women are going after those men, but, like, I don't understand the men going after those women. Yes, those women are fine. I mean, a lot of these women are fine, but, like, bruh, like, no, like, if you seen a woman like Drea, for example, although she's beautiful, again, you gotta do the Carfax, man. You gotta look back at the driver history. And when you see the pattern there, you gotta, I don't know, that would just turn me off. Like, if I knew, and again, these are public relationships. If I knew my partner to have that many public relationships, that would definitely turn me off, right? Because you're definitely you're being compared to somebody. In the back of her head, when you do something that she likes, she could be thinking about that other guy. When you do something she don't like, she could be thinking about that other guy. If we talking about the bedroom, she definitely comparing you to X amount of guys. You know what I'm saying? If you don't do something she don't like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't hit that spot the way she wants you to hit her. You don't touch her the same way. You don't think in the back of her mind she ain't doing the Rolodex and trying to fantasize about the other guy that couldn't get right with, she couldn't get right with. She's definitely thinking about that guy. So, and that's why body count matters, because I think, yeah, I mean, for especially women, I think, they it's more of an emotional attachment. So, like, yeah, they are going to be thinking about those different things for a longer period of time, right? So that's that on that, man. The Cougar groupies. Can we think about some other Cougar groupies out there? There probably are some, but, like, again, I think Drea is like the poster girl right now, and I don't want to keep picking on her. So we're gonna move on from that, though. All right, so we got some little headlines, or just little things that we seen on social media. Real quick before we end the show. Let me see real quick. Let me go to my, okay. Okay. So there's been an update, and this was actually a couple weeks ago, maybe now at this point. So it says Odell Beckham Jr. and Kim K have broken up. And it was after her comments that she made. So she made these comments that were reported. It says Kim Kardashian wants to have babies with Odell Beckham because after dating for a couple months, because of his genetics. So, yo, I just gotta say that like Kim is definitely she is a practitioner of eugenics, right? Like she's, she's not quite the cougar groupie because Kim got a bag. So like that's the thing. Like I think she's definitely she was a groupie at one point in time. But like she learned how to earn her own bag, right? But she's always been in the mind frame of eugenics and trying to create like the perfect specimen. Like, I don't know, when she messed with Pete Davidson, I think that was publicity. Maybe it was to get Kanye angry, whatever. But like, yeah, no, she's definitely when she messed with Reggie Bush, when she messed with like when she's messing with these guys, she was definitely trying to find this perfect specimen. Now, Kanye is just like he was, super wealthy, but also like, he got this artistic gift. And so like maybe she just felt like, it was the perfect match. Like she couldn't get an athlete, right? So he don't got so their kids, they not gonna have them athletic genetics, whatever, but they might have these musical genetics, you know what I'm saying? Or just like his thought processes, which could be good or bad. But I wouldn't say she falls into that cougar groupie category, but like she's definitely, she's definitely practicing trying to make the best baby that she possibly can make. Right. There was another thing on Twitter. There was a conversation about and I think I relate to this, and I agree with this, whatever. But it was like somebody was like finding out y'all couldn't eat ribs at the cookouts, low key blew my mind. And says that shit sounds like poverty. But I get it. Kids waste food and ribs aren't cheap. They just made sure we didn't waste it. They didn't bar us from having them at all. Now, yeah, man, this a lot of times I would say in black households, black families, um, yeah, the kids were at a cookout. The kids were kind of, I mean, they get a hot dog, they can get a burger. You might be able to get a chicken leg. You know what I'm saying? If there's some chicken legs or something like that. But like you're not giving them the seafood. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's like crabs or something like that, like all right, you can get a crab or two, whatever. But like you're not getting all the seafood. You're not getting the ribs. You're not getting the steak. You're not getting that type of stuff. And it's and if you ever been to a cookout, first off, for a kid, a child, the cookout, the food is not the main event for a kid, right? Kids don't go to cookouts because they want to eat. They go to cookouts to play. They go to cookouts to socialize with like younger relatives, friends, and things like that. Maybe there's a pool wherever, like if there's a cookout, maybe there's a pool. Like they're going for the entertainment. So like kids even though they do get hungry, kids are not worried about eating. Like if you ever been to a cookout and you could see even the burgers and hot dogs that don't get eaten. See and it's funny, my man Quan on Twitter, he was talking about this. And think about when you clean up all the half-filled sodas and huggies and juices and waters that are laying around everywhere. That's kids. That's kids doing that. So like, do they get to eat the ribs and stuff? No, they don't get to. And I don't want people need to stop acting like it's depriving the kids. No, if because I can make ribs at home, right? I can make ribs at home. I'm not going to take you to if we're hosting a cookout, we're going to a cookout. I don't want my kid to be the kid that's wasting food. So like you getting what I know you're gonna eat, whatever. Right now, we could pack certain things up, but or if we want to try new foods, even if we go out to eat, right? You're ordering stuff off the menu that I know that you are gonna consume, right? And can you try steak? Can you try ribs? Can you try all type of seafood? Can you try lamb? Whatever it is, right? Can you try those things? Sure, you can try. Here, take a bite of mine. But like, do you get a whole, and I'm not saying that people making fillets on the grill, like for a big setting, but like maybe the New York strip, are you getting a full New York strip steak? No. Are you getting, uh, you know, like a little four-piece, whatever, like little baby back ribs? Probably not. No. I mean, because you probably are gonna waste it. You don't kids don't even know what part is the meat part separated from the fat. Like, I'm saying, like they literally don't even know how to eat those foods. So No, we go to a cookout, right? You are representing me. I don't want you being too wasteful. Even if I'm hosting a cookout, like you still representing me. You can get the leftovers. Yeah, I mean, we you can eat that stuff when we come back. You can have a bite of your parents, but like, no, you getting the basics. You can get whatever side you want. You get whatever side you want. But in terms of the entree foods, yeah, you can get a chicken leg, you can get a hot dog, you can get a burger, smoked sausage, something like that. But like, nah, the other stuff, nah, you got to wait. You got to wait till you're a little bit older, till we know that that's the kind of food that you eat on a regular basis, right? So that's that. That's that on that. That was funny though. That was definitely relatable. What did y'all think, man, about this week, man? Again, a lot of stuff about sports, a lot of nostalgia, talking about old sports things, but also Lil Wayne. What do y'all think, man? You know, are you who's an artist that that's who's a veteran artist, an artist that's been around for a while that you would love to see that would like kind of check something off your bucket list? And do you trust it? Do you trust it? I'm wondering. I wonder. So, yeah, man, the Cougar Groupie. What do y'all think about that phenomenon? Why are older women, chasing the bag in this manner? I don't know why, but like maybe y'all got some insight on it. But I don't know, man. This is episode 143. If you're still here, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Please leave a comment. Please share the content. And this is another episode of the 280 Plus Podcast, y'all. I'm out. Peace.